Hello everyone, and welcome to this video, which is going to be going over Terraria 1.0 and seeing all the differences that have come along with time. First of all, obviously we can see differences in the title screen. You can still drag around the sun, but there's no background, and it doesn't turn into the corruption version at night. It just stays green. You can also move around the moon, and the music is different if you listen. Very similar to the original, very similar to the newest one, 1.4, but just slightly different. So, the clouds also look different, look more cartoonish. But anyway, let's get into the game. I have my own world prepared for everybody to see. And, I guess the sun was still in the background. This is what the game used to look like in 2011. Some interesting things. Number one, doors don't open when you walk into them. They don't. You have to click on them to open them. Second of all, guide still does the same thing. The coins look a bit different. You can see it's kind of strange. Also, there was no insta put into something. If you hold down shift, it immediately trashes it. It doesn't actually put it directly into a container. Also, as you might have seen, chests are pitifully small, containing 4 by 5, 20 items in it. Not great. Not great at all. It's very, very annoying to have to put stuff away. Also, caves are a little bit different in this version, being kind of strange in the way that they don't generate the same. In Terraria, 1.4, caves are pretty simple, just long winding stretches of stone which may end, may not end. But you can see in this version, they're a bit different. Most of them just end right here at, the surface. I'll probably just grab this and use this right now. But they're strange in a way that they generate, a bit more individually, where it's like instead of a one large cave system, it's more of little segmented areas that, if you mine in between them, they come together to form a kind of cave system. Also, yeah, this is what glowing mushroom biomes used to look like. Not much to look at. It wouldn't change the background, it wouldn't change the music or anything. Just remain looking like that. Another interesting thing, this is basically an end-game build. The Knight's Edge is not... The final boss is Skeletron. The Knight's Edge is not obtainable before Skeletron, neither is the Phoenix Blaster, also the Onyx Blaster. But this is basically endgame, because Molten Armor is actually really, really annoying to get. So I just prefer to go with Shadow. Oh, look at this. Clicked in here. But yeah. Another talking point, there's no smart cursor. So if you hold down shift, you don't get to place, torches or whatever. Also, there was no, where you press shift, or you press control and it goes from individual breaking and placing mode to that's smart control. Yeah, that doesn't exist in this version. You have to individually move your mouse to break each block. And that gets pretty tiring on your hand after a bit, because you're doing these precise movements with your hand a lot to move it over just the tiniest bit. So it actually ended up cramping my hand after a little while. So if you're going to play this version, maybe be wary of the fact that your hand will get tired from the more precise movements you have to make. Some other things, obviously the blocky lighting. lighting used to be kind of strange. It'd only go... Oh, Blood Moon! That's actually the first one I've had. It's the first Blood Moon I've experienced in this world. But I'm gonna show y'all the Eye of Cthulhu fight, because I think my NPCs are about to die, but you know, whatever. I'll get some blocks for armor or something. Hey. Cobalt Shield. Always a great accessory to have. As you can hear, the Blood Moon has had the same song since its inception, although this song is actually for multiple different things. It's also for the dungeon and the underworld. It's for hell too. And just block off my guys, make sure they're not getting messed up by these zombies and all that. Boom. Alright. I'm gonna show you the Eye of Cthulhu fight. Of course, this version doesn't have expert mode. It's only classic mode, so this shouldn't be too difficult. As you can see, my arena is just one strip of platforms. Yeah, this is the eye. There's no auto fire either, so every weapon in the game is... Well, not every weapon, but I'm pretty sure most swords and a lot of guns are individual fire. So I'm individually tapping the left mouse button for each shot. But as you can see, with, you know, end game build, Eye of Cthulhu is getting melted. And it's down. It'd be like, you know, today on classic mode if you use the Phoenix Blaster. Yeah, as you can see, you know, Blood Moon, that moon isn't actually that red, but the clouds are. So. Also have the Molten Fury, which, you know, acts the exact same, just turns wooden arrows into fire arrows. Flame arrows, or whatever they're called. Another interesting thing, in this version, the magic mirror takes mana, 20 mana, which is 1 mana star. And mana stars cost 10 fallen stars to make. They were pretty expensive. Also, another interesting thing, the rocket boots, aren't sold by the Tinkerer in this version, because the Tinkerer doesn't actually exist. I'm not sure if I have all the NPCs. You know, I might, but I'm pretty sure this is all of them. You know, Dryad, Arms Dealer. These guys are all basically the same, but they have a different line thickness. The outer lines of them are a lot, you know, darker. And I feel like that's just everything in this version. Has a different line thickness. Very bold lines on the outlines and all the blocks and stuff like that. Also another thing in this version, the corruption is orange. I don't know if it'll show it on the Blood Moon, but the background is orange. It's very strange. But oh yeah, back to the rocket boots. The rocket boots were actually dropped during the Goblin invasion. Just a random drop from goblins. Like I killed a goblin and it dropped it. So, you know, you can't combine anything in this version. You know, like it doesn't say that it's a material. Also, corruption trees used to drop the exact same type of wood. I don't actually have a axe on me right now, because axes are actually a little bit useless in this version. Compared to, oddly enough, the hammer. You see, in older versions of Terraria, stuff like sprites, you know, like life crystals, doors, tables, furnaces, and all that, used to require a hammer to be broken. Which I guess makes more sense, because, you know, you're not using an axe to break a table. Well, actually, I mean, you are, but you're not using an axe to break, like, a furnace or an anvil. Actually, for that, you'd use a pickaxe or whatever. See? You should require the hammer. So hammers are actually useful, and you would want to take them with you everywhere, because if you found a life crystal underground, and you wanted to actually get the life crystal, you'd need to have a hammer with you. So let's just head back down here. I already showed the Eye of Cthulhu fight. There's some more interesting stuff. I want to show you the jungle, because I want to show you guys the jungle, because it's actually a bit more interesting than what you might expect. Actually, I don't know if this elevator, whatever. Actually, I'll show you hell first, because it's where I'm headed in the game, obviously. I hope not in real life. Hell was a bit different. It was dark. This is the underworld. Has the lava and the hellstone. And also, listen. It plays the same theme as the Blood Moon. You know, of course, in 1.3 they changed this. I think it was 1.3. I don't think 1.2 had the hell background and the new music and all that. I think it was 1.3 that did that. So it was hell was like this until 1.3. I wonder if the same water walking trick works in this version. Oh, it does. Nice. Yeah, hell also used to suck in this version, because the only thing you would come down here to do is get hellstone. And getting hellstone in this version is actually a miserable experience. Number one, because there's no smart cursor, so you can't, like, auto-move the stuff. And number two, I don't know what's about it. It's just, like, it only spawns in, like, smaller bits, and I never find obsidian skin potions in this version. So I had to like go in between like the blocks and all that. It was very, very annoying. Yeah, this is the underworld. It has all the same enemies. I don't know if they're guide voodoo dolls and like voodoo demons in this version. Wall of Flesh wouldn't exist until 1.1, which I'm actually planning on making a similar video to this in the future once I actually complete 1.1 Terraria. But yeah. This is the underworld. It was pretty miserable. And here's a battle potion. Yeah. Not a great place to be. You know, in modern Terraria, it's, you know, not my favorite biome. But in this, even more, so... yeah. Anyway, I'm going to try and show you the jungle, which I actually have an entrance to in my elevator. It's funny, interesting. I think I'll just dig down right here. Yeah, see? Individually mining each block. It's a lot of things. The one thing that this version... okay, I guess it's not here? Whatever. One thing that this version actually makes me appreciate is a lot of the things that, you know, modern Terraria players take for granted. Which, you know, smart cursor, being able to just walk through doors, having auto swing. Like, I'm holding down the button right now, and it's not auto swinging. See? Nothing. So, I don't know. I feel like, you know, this would be a good experience. It's interesting. It's very interesting. It's, you know, very different compared to, you know, modern Terraria. Obviously, it's going to be like that. But it's also just... I don't know. It's a bit more peaceful, in a way, where you don't have as much to think about. You know, it's not about, in this version, really, like, oh, I need to max out my character, and I need to, you know, grind for these items and all that, because there's just much less of them. There's not as many items, period. There's just less of a selection, so it's actually not as much thought put into it. Not on the end of the developers, of course. I'm not trying to say that this game was just, oh, it's just throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks. No, it's just more of, it's a more chill experience. It's more relaxing. So, I'd honestly recommend this to any Terraria player if you want to experience the old version. I actually... oh yeah, this is where it is. Okay. Yeah. There were no... I don't think there were any, like, of those big cave, like, opening things. Actually, I don't really know what to call them. But, you know, in the modern version, where you have those big, like, hills, and they have an entrance into them, and you get some, like, wooden chests, and you can explore a very easy cave opening. I don't think they existed in this version. I think it was just holes in the ground, which, you know, is maybe more realistic. Never actually been to a cave. I mean, I have in I think it was Texas. Went to Paladero Canyon. There was a cool cave opening there, and it was pretty interesting. We went in it. That canyon's a pretty great place to go if you ever want to, you know, explore it. It's a quick, I don't know, plug for a national, you know, treasure, I guess. But yeah, I guess it's a bit more realistic in the way that, you know, you don't really find giant hills with caves in them in real life. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not a. Is it a geography question for that? Not sure. Anyway, back to some more relevant talking points. Enemies in this version. Kind of similar to modern Terraria, you can't see the health bar. There's no, like, appearing health bar. Actually, no, there is. There is appearing health bars in the modern version, what I'm saying. Yeah, there's no health bar in this version. You actually have to hover over them to see how much damage you've done. So, like, Cave Bat, 16. I did more damage than I had health, but there's a worm coming. Yeah, there's still worms in this version. Come on. You gonna show up or not? Anyway. Jungle spores were interesting in this version, where they mostly drop in piles of 1. So if you're getting a jungle spore, you're probably only getting 1 with each little bulb, I guess you could say. I don't really know what they are exactly. I always thought they used to be like flowers or like, you know, some stuff. Not exactly sure. Anyway, the blade of grass in this version is also pain to get. Like actual pain. It costs 20 stingers and 20 jungle spores, as opposed to, like, I think the 15, 12, and a couple vines in the modern version. So, yeah, it was not fun. And the blade of grass was just a big sword. It's a very large sword that you would swing around. Had none of that projectile stuff that newer Terraria does. But this was the jungle. It was dark, you know. There was no color lighting, so everything was just white. So, I mean, it's interesting. It's an interesting place to be. It's a lot more interesting than the regular caves, because, you know, there's not a whole lot of variety in those. But, you know, you had the man-eaters, you had the stingers, and that was about it. Of course, you also had, like, regular enemies spawning in the jungle, but if you're coming here, that's not really what you're looking for. You're looking for the jungle spores and the stingers to make the blade of grass. And I guess a pair of feral claws if you want the melee speed. Yeah, that's the jungle. Anyway, gonna head over to the dungeon now. I think that'll be where I'm gonna end this off, because the dungeon is a bit different, you know. Of course it's gonna be, but it's a lot more similar than different. But it's still, you know, like, it shares similarities to the regular dungeon, kind of the same generation, and same overall feel to it. It's winding corridors in a brick castle kind of looking thing. So not much has changed in the way of generation, except for, of course, the cracked dungeon brick, which I really, really hate dealing with, because, you know, it's a pain to get rid of walking around the dungeon. Oh, hold on, let me engage in a 30-second unskippable cutscene where I have to break down all the bricks in this dungeon area so that I can actually get by and get all the loot that I want. Oh yeah, cactus hurts you. Also, meteorite. Meteorite sucked in this version as well, except it actually deals way more damage on contact. It's also very, very hard to break with a nightmare pickaxe. I think it takes 4 swings. Yeah, 4 swings for 1 meteorite. I didn't even bother with it. I'm not doing a magic playthrough, I'm not kidding. I think you can hold up to 200 mana. That's 10 mana stars because you don't actually spawn with one. So that's 100 stars you would have to collect to get, you know, full mana. Oh, what? Whatever, I guess I'll just heal using a healing potion. Yeah, for some reason it doesn't like auto select for potions the largest one. I think it does that Terraria modern day. It actually just goes to the nearest one. There's another meteorite. Again, I refuse to do anything with it because it's a pain. I guess you could bomb them in this version. That's actually pretty cool. But Yeah, here's a dungeon. A bit different looking. You can definitely see the steps jutting out. There was my arena that I used. Platforms are crafted where one wood would become one platform. So it's really annoying to deal with. So, oh yeah, you can't place torches on background walls either. Here's the dungeon. You can hear it's also the same Blood Moon theme and Hell theme. Damn, I hit my spacebar really hard. Yeah, as you can see, it's kind of the same enemies. You have the Dark Caster, you have the Floating Skull, and you have the Angry Bones. That's about it. I think the Angry Bones almost all look the same. But here, look at this. Dungeon spikes were mined with a hammer. It took a lot of hits. Just fantastic. Dungeon slime. Let me open this up, see what I get. Got a Cobalt Shield. Cobalt Shield used to look very, very strange. Yeah, this is the dungeon. Not much to speak about. You know. Just same old dungeon from pre-hard mode. There's no hard mode dungeon in this version, because there is no hard mode. No Wall of Flesh. The final boss was Skeletron. Which is actually a pretty strange final boss. It's a bit anticlimactic, because Skeletron's really, really easy. I just basically tanked all his hits the whole fight. So, pretty easy time with that. But, yeah, this was the dungeon in 1.1. Basically the same. Long winding corridors with dungeon brick and skeletons so you can kill. This was the hardest area in the game back in 1.0. Because, I don't know, I guess it was, you know, you have the dungeon spikes, which were a bit more of a threat, in my opinion, than the lava of the underworld, because you're more likely to accidentally touch it and die. So, yeah, it's interesting. I'm going to show you what happens when you die, too. Just to get it, you know, all out there. It just says you were slain. It has the flavor text down there. It doesn't give you a timer, and it doesn't tell you how much gold you lost. It just says, oh, you died. Wait to come back. Finally, there's no grappling hook slot. You just have to keep it in your inventory, although there is a hotkey to use it. And yeah, that's Terraria 1.0. Some concluding remarks. The game's fun. It's still Terraria, you know. It's not like it's changed, you know, drastically in its main core identity of being, you know, blocky and like RPG sandbox game. It's always been that. It's never not been an RPG sandbox. However, it has changed drastically in its presentation, its gameplay feel, and its quality of life. And I think by playing this version, I've actually gained much more of an appreciation for modern Terraria. Because this is just, you know, a lot worse. Not to, you know, be harsh and say, oh, this version of the game sucks. It's not at all fun. I did have fun while playing this version. Less fun than 1.4, but still fun. And I feel like any PC Terraria player should maybe go back and experience this. It's entirely free. You can get it for free. Just on the Terraria page in your Steam library, go to the click on the cog wheel. It should take you to like this little. It should have like a little drop-down menu. It should have preferences, or it's like properties. If you click on that and then go to the beta tab, you can click. You know, it has actually. The Terraria devs have been really cool as to port all major versions of the game. So 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3, and of course 1.4, which is just the none button. But yeah, I encourage Terraria players, modern PC players, to actually go back and play this old version. Get the true 2011 Terraria experience and see how the game has changed, and maybe such as I did, gain more of an appreciation for all the amenities that we've been afforded in modern Terraria. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me. There's no pause menu either. Oh, there's so much to show. Yeah, that's about it for me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Getting, if you were actually around to play this version back in 2011, getting some what? Jeez, I can't talk. Getting some nostalgia, or if you weren't able to play this game back in the day like I was, actually experience a classic version of the game that you hold very dear. But yeah, that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like, drop a like, and if you want to, subscribe, or don't. I can't, boss you around. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one, which, I will be making a 1.1 version of this video in the future, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, bye!